So today what I'm here to talk about is a little thing called the norm and what some people call normies. So if you've ever been on certain parts of the internet such as the YouTube comment section, Imgur, Discord, possibly Reddit, you may have heard the term normies or normie. You likely won't find this topic on Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram, and maybe not Tumblr, but I haven't been on Tumblr in a while. Anyway, if you've been through school, if you're at least in high school, you have an idea of what the norm is, what normal is. Basically, for those who don't know or too young to have learned about it yet, the norm is basically something that a lot of people have in common, that a lot of people do, depending on the subject. When it comes to books, it may be normal for a certain genre, a certain type of book to be popular at the time. See, basically what we consider the norm, we consider what to be popular, whether it be when it comes to what we watch, what we eat, what we do, what we think. Basically, it's what's widely accepted by society, by most people. Now, the norm and normies are kind of two different things. They're similar, but not the same. When talking about normies, I kind of have my own definition. Each person kind of has their own definition, each person who talks about it. To me, what a normie is someone who basically follows the crowd, someone who does what is popular. Now, I'm just mostly talking about what is the norm and what people follow in the United States, because I don't really know that much about other countries or the world in general, but I do know a bit about normies in the United States. Basically, my definition of a normie for the United States is someone who does what other people do, like someone who does the mainstream things, like following American pop culture. I would say watching television, but even people who I consider to be normies don't do that as much as I used to. Watching, besides following American pop culture, normies to me are the kind of people who watch like celebrities and rich people vlog about their lives on YouTube, or watch about families vlog on YouTube, or watch basically most of the things that are often on the trending page and they tend to enjoy it. To me, normies are very basic people who don't tend to think very deeply for themselves, usually. To me, they're the kind of people who tend to think positive about their lives, but to the point that's kind of dangerous, to where they think, oh yeah, I'll probably be rich someday just by working hard. Now, even that thought used to be widely accepted in the United States, but isn't as accepted anymore, because people have woken up to realize that the American dream is pretty much dead. Just because you work hard doesn't mean you'll get somewhere, because of how the corporations try to enslave us. And to me, normies are the kind of people who don't realize they're being enslaved. Now, I consider myself to be an intellectual person. I mean, I'm also a Christian, I'm also spiritual, but I tend to think for myself. I tend to think deeply. And that's why you can probably tell what the problems I have with normies. You see, I am not at all a normie. I don't follow the norm. I don't consider most of the things on the trending page to be entertaining. In my opinion, there's too much news, there's too much Tonight shows, there's too many family vlogs and rich people vlogs and rich people videos where there's Taylor Swift making a music video and stuff. Of course, music is popular, but American pop culture, no. See, I don't care for any of those kinds of things. And apparently it's the norm. Of course, the norm might one day change. It might change to where the norm is anime and esports and fantastic things like that. But right now, that's not the norm. That's not what most people are doing, unfortunately. And if that's the case, if that becomes the norm eventually, maybe one day I'll be a normie. But I won't care then, because that'll be what everyone else likes. That'll be what I like. Of course, unless I change to hate those things, but that's highly unlikely. Basically, I'm going to say it. Some of the problems that I have with normies are that they don't think for themselves. They tend to group think, where they think what everyone else thinks is also correct. They don't tend to question things. And then sometimes when they do question things, they're questioning the wrong things. Of course, I haven't always deeply disliked normies this much. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that YouTube, for probably the last year or so, I don't even know how long, has been pandering to normies with the trending page and everything. And I noticed that things that aren't closely followed by the norm and normies don't get on the trending page. Of course, that's changed a little bit recently. I don't know if it's the algorithm's fault or if YouTube is actively trying to have only those things on the trending page. But like I said, it's changing recently because now animations are becoming more popular than ever. I'll be talking about that in another video, about why and how animations are becoming more popular. But overall, to summarize it, I just can't stand people who don't think for themselves, people who don't realize so many things that are wrong with the world. Like how college is basically a sham now. You go to college, you get a degree, you might have already forgotten everything. By that point, it's pretty much useless. You see, a lot of the most successful people dropped out of college or high school or just school in general. That's because they learned that getting good grades and following the norm doesn't necessarily get you ahead in life. It's thinking outside the box that does. It's doing things differently, doing things your own way, being confident in what you do, even if it's not what everyone else is doing. But maybe I'll talk about that another time. Anyway, now you know that for a while now I haven't liked normies, and now you know why. If you like this video, please press like. If you'd like to see more in the future, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.